Hello everyone, welcome back to Kredict. This is 45-day Learn Blockchain Development Challenge with Kredict. And today is day 15 of this challenge. We have learned a lot about Solidity programming language in our previous videos. And in today's video, we are going to learn about payable functions in Solidity. So, without wasting any time, let's get started. First of all, open up your browser and Remix ID in it. The official domain for Remix ID is remix.ethereum.org, and this is the only domain by which you can access this IDE. So don't fall for any fake or phishing IDE claiming to be genuine Remix IDE. So with this note, let's get started. If you are following along this series, you know we have a folder in our Remix ID which is blockchain tut and has all of the smart contracts we have developed and learned in our previous videos. So in the same folder, I'm going to create a new file which I'm going to name as Payable because in this session we are going to learn about payable functions. So just quickly create the boilerplate here. We are going to use version 8.20 and create a contract body here. I'm gonna name it same as the class name. So here is our basic structure of smart contract is ready, and we are going to see payable functions. And if you're confused, it is payable. This is the spelling. Pay means to pay, and payable means those functions which can be paid with native currencies of blockchain, like Ethereum on Ethereum mainnet, BNB on BNB chain, or formerly known as Binance Smart Chain, and Matic on Polygon chain. So these are their native currencies, and those functions which accept these currencies is known as payable functions. Because generally, if function is not payable, you cannot send native currency with it. So you have to make that function payable to send the value that is required for that function to execute. So we are talking about these values. You can see in our example addresses, the 10 addresses which we have provided by Remix IDE, you can see all of these accounts have 100 ethers. Obviously, these are fake, but for reference or for testing purposes, these are enough. So we have around 100 ether in each account. So let's see how to create and use payable function. And we use this interface of Remix IDE to send amount with our function. So without wasting any time, let's see. I'm just gonna delete this comment. Okay, so here I'm gonna just show you how a payable function looks like. First of all, you have to write function, the name of your function. We are going to name it as transfer, and this takes a address. You can say the address in which we want to send the amount we receive, and I'm going to say it as user. This is public, and this returns nothing. Till then, you know what this is and how this will work. But to make this payable, we have to write it as payable. So now this function becomes a payable function, and when we execute this function, we can send native currencies with it. So what we are going to do, we are receiving the value and sending it to and send it to user, the address we get from parameter. So how do we know the value we are receiving from the function call? So if you remember, we have a constant in previous video that is message.sender, which specifies the caller of function. Similar to this, we have also message.value. We specify value of native currency sent. So we can use this constant to get our value. So let's remove this. And for clear understanding, I'm going to store this value in a variable. I'm going to name it as amount and store the message.value. So now we have message.value in this variable says amount. So what we are going to do, we are just going to transfer this amount to this address. And with this, we also going to learn a new concept of transferring native currencies between addresses. And as you may guess, for this reason, the function is also payable and the address we are going to send the ether or the native currency should also be payable. And we can convert our address to payable by typecasting it to like this. So this is now a payable function. And what we can say, we can dot transfer and here the amount. So I know this is a little bit confusing, but in this line we are sending the amount to user. So I'm going to just quickly break it for you. To receive the value, the address should also have to be payable. So we have typecasted it in a payable address by writing payable and opening closing braces and the address we want to convert, or you can say typecast. And payable addresses has a inbuilt function known as transfer, which we can access using dot operator and which takes an argument in which we pass the amount. And you can remove this and check for the parameters here. If you put your cursor here, it may show you. Okay, so I think it may show you it's wrong arguments count, 0 arguments given but expected 1. So this expect for argument, which is the amount you want to send. So I'm going to write here the amount. Okay, so now our basic function is complete. Let's just quickly deploy it and see how does it work. So make sure to select the version you are using, compile the contract, switch to this tab, select your function or the contract and deploy. So now here we have a function and now you can see this is of red color. In previous videos we have never seen a red button for a function, so we can consider this as the blue button is those functions that only return values, the only read contracts but does not modify any state. The orange color buttons functions are those functions that change the state of contract, and these red color buttons are those functions which are payable and accept native currency or you can say ether while calling the function. So if you want to pass the address, we also have to pass the value. So how you can send value in remix id, you can say here we have a field says value, and for this we will see this we any in later videos, but for now I'm going to just switch on ether. And you can see we have these all addresses, and while deploying the contract we have burnt sub ether. So I'm going to select the second address, copy, paste it here. Okay, so come back to above and select your original address and pass here. You can say the amount of ether you want to send. So I want to send 5 ether. So we have value and we have our argument, and when we click on this transfer, it will take the 5 ether from our address and will send to the argument we have passed, which is this address. So to test this, click on transfer. So you can see the function is executed successfully. So scroll up and you can see we have now only 94, and this address has 105 ether. So you can see it has successfully sent the 5 ether to this address. So you can use this basic function to send ethers between your addresses. So I'm gonna pass a big number this time. Let's Okay, so select this address, paste it here, and pass you can say like 20 ethers, and click on transfer. So now you can see, okay, we have selected this and transferred this itself, so this does not have any deduction. Just click on this. Okay, it's a mistake. Now just type the amount 20 and transfer. Now you can see this has only 74 and this has 119.99 ethers. So with this example, I hope you know how the payable function work, and we have also seen a basic example of transferring values in ether or other native currencies on which blockchain you are developing. We can use this transfer. And in terms of tokens, we also have this transfer function, which we will see later when we learn to create our own first token in Solidity. So this is a payable function. Just quickly see about payable addresses. In previous video we have seen we can define address like this, okay, which will have address of some type, like you can say just this address. So I'm going to pass it here. But if you don't want to typecast this like this, you can convert this directly to a payable address by just typecasting here. Just put the address in braces and write payable in front of it. So now my address is a payable type, and we can use this address directly here to transfer the value, and just remove this argument. So this is a payable address and this is a payable function. Just quickly redeploy this contract and see the changes. Just deploy, open this up, and now we don't have to pass any address because this takes no argument but has a fixed hard-coded address of one of our accounts. I think this is from 061, you can say this address. So just quickly send some ether and check. So I'm going to send this time 14 and click on transfer. So function executed successfully, and if you scroll down you can see our address has now 114 ether, and the same amount is deducted from our original address, and also some more because this consumes gas fees, and gas fees are also paid in ether or the native currency of blockchain. So here is a short and quick example on payable function in Solidity. You can use these property of functions to create multiple type of things like transferring tokens. So the main thing is here to this keyword which is payable. And if you, for let me show you, what if you don't have payable keyword and want to send some amount. Just quickly remove this and just remove this. Just return some value here, return true, and right here returns true. I hope you know all this thing, so I'm just gonna write this quickly. Okay, so put a semicolon and remove this comment also, and make this a pure function. So now we have a function which is not payable, but we are going to send some values with it. So just deploy this, click on this. So now you can see this is only just a blue button which means a read function. So we are trying to pass some values like 5 ether with it. So let's see what happens. I'm going to say transfer. So the function called and return, and it should may contain the value. Okay, let's see. Payable transfer, yeah, it's executed by payable transfer because this is the contract and function name. But this does not hold the value for us, because to hold the value the function should have to be payable. But I think we have deducted some here. I'm not sure what the amount previous. Just send some more so see the difference. Okay, just click on transfer. Okay, so you can see there's no change in the amount. So this does not containing or holding any value. This is just running the function like a normal read function. Even this function change the state. This has nothing to do with it. Just change the state of my address, or just remove this and assign that to here. It's not a big deal. Okay, remove this extra equal to, format this a little bit. Okay, why it's giving error? Okay, so we have to remove the pure because it's changing the state now. So our state changing function is ready now. Just remove this and deploy. Okay, oh, we have to clear this so we can deploy the contract. Okay, so we have now deployed the contract. Now you can see we have this orange button to which denotes the function that changes the state of blockchain. We are going to just pass the value here. I'm going to say 8 and our current value is 60.9 and something. So just click on transfer and now you can see this function reverted because this function is not a payable function. So this function cannot hold any value and also cannot be executed while sending some amount with it. So if you open this, I think you can see the error, failed to decode output, error hex data, invalid argument. I think we are not taking any argument, so the value is sent as an argument with the function call in low level, so it states invalid argument because this function does not expect any value to send with this. So this is a basic example of payable functions and payable addresses in Solidity. I hope you got the concept and I request you to try this with multiple examples by yourself. So this is all about for today. This is Kredict. You are watching 45-day Learn Blockchain Development Challenge, and we have covered a lot of topics in Solidity, and we have some topics remaining which we will see in next videos, and then we create our own full-fledged smart contracts and decentralized application with this series. So I will see you in the next day of this series. Till then, stay safe.